Hello everyone, I'm KL and welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'm going to be painting. I'm not the best painter, I don't really do this, but I really wanted to try the trend where you put bows and glitter on everything. I'm not sure who started it, but it's been circling around social media. Of course, I'm late to the trend. That's fine because it's just given me a lot of time to think about what I actually want to create. In today's video, you'll be meeting 3 new characters, 2 of which are super unique, one of which is pretty basic because it's just a rabbit. But I really hope that you enjoy the characters that I've come up with for these paintings, so let's get to the video. Time to open the hoard of paintbrushes. I swear I don't have too many, they all have their own purpose. Alright, onto the canvases. So I'm going to be doing 3 drawings, so I have 3 perfectly fresh canvases to use. Little did I know that I would meet my match with these canvas spacers. There I go, using all my strength. It's really hard with these nails. And just repeated that with all 3 canvases. And these are the concepts for the 3 characters I'm going to be making. Let's see, we got a fox, a bunny, and a Pomeranian. I'm just going to start off with a sketch with a colored pencil. It's really hard to see because I'm going super light. This part was actually quite therapeutic, just to freehand everything without worrying about the lines being super perfect. So like I said, I'm not very good at painting, but I was really hoping that I could make it in the same style I have. Look at that happy little smile. Now I'm just going in with some gesso, that will be the colored base, and it will also help the paint stick to the canvas. I thought that there was gesso on the seal, so I tried scraping it, but nothing came off. At least I'm not wasting them. I didn't want to spend too much time on these paintings, so I'm just using really cheap paint to see how they turn out. And if the paintings come out really good and the whole process is better than I thought it would be, then I might do this again. It's really hard to see on camera. On to the background. I thought at the start that I would use a chopstick to mix all of the paint, but I only had one chopstick, so I don't know why I thought that would be a good idea to mix multiple colors if I only had one chopstick. It's better to start with the outline because then it's harder to paint a background around something that you've already created, especially then it would kind of suck to have to go back and paint over all the little details that you accidentally cut into. Honestly, so far this is so relaxing. I didn't realize how enjoyable painting could be. I haven't done it in probably like 6 years when I was doing art class, so it was kind of mandatory to do paintings. No! See how I cut into the area where it shouldn't be background? See, that would have been annoying if I did the background last. You know, I never knew what to do with the edges of paintings, if you just leave them bare, if you just continue the artwork on the sides, or if you just paint the background. In this case, I just did the background, because I'm not painting on edges that nobody's gonna see. I started with the ears because that was the more messier part. If you saw on the concept, the little pink fox has ombre ears. Of course, for a first painting, I start with a really difficult technique. So I wasn't sure how I was gonna go about it, but I'm gonna try a few things out and see what works best. I started by just trying to feather the pink and purple together with just a paintbrush, and that worked pretty well. I tried using a blending sponge and it kind of worked, so I'm happy with that. Getting those crisp edges now. It's really hard to get white to show up, so I'm gonna go over this multiple times. Those 2 purple dots in the middle, they are gonna be my demise, but whatever, it's fine. I'm using so much paint here, but the canvas is just eating all of it. I don't understand how, and I still have to go back over this again. Where is all my paint going? While that's dry, I'm gonna go back to the ears and add some highlights. And after a few layers, it really shows up so well. And again with the sponge. I shouldn't have used it in this part because it just made it look really muddy. But we live and we learn. I'm just gonna use purple to shade everything because it makes sense if the whole background is purple. This was when I was like, I'm hoping that it actually turns out like my style because I wasn't sure how it would actually execute on a painting. She finally has a head. Just adding more shadows, blending. This does look really muddy, I am aware of that, but it will get better, I promise, trust me. Onto the eyes, I just made them closed because foxes with closed eyes are so cute, and I had to go back over that a few times, obviously, to get the right shade. Adding some shinies, and this is the part where it's going to get less muddy because I'm going to outline everything. Oops, that's not how the head's meant to go. Now I'm in panic mode. I have to get rid of this line. Oh, it looks like a double J. So I have to fix that now. I just used some water to make it really opaque. It doesn't mess with the paint underneath because it's dried. Oh, and apparently I hated that line too, so I'm just gonna fix that as well. See, don't even notice it's gone. Kind of. I know the lines aren't extremely crisp, but I don't have a crisp art style in general. I really like the messy, sketchy type of thing. So it's okay if the lines don't match up with the paint. Don't freak out, everyone. It is semi-intentional, but it's also just a quick method to see if I actually like this kind of painting stuff. Ooh, and one of my favorite parts, adding highlights to the fur. It just gives it this beautiful glow. Adding my signature, and that's the first painting done. I need to sharpen my coloring pencil. Yeah, that's good. If you saw the concept for this one, it was meant to be simple. Here I go thinking that it was way too simple. So while drawing this, I decided to add flowers everywhere. Keep in mind, I don't do backgrounds and I'm so bad at painting flowers, but you know, maybe this is a good learning curve. I finished adding the gesso coat off screen and onto painting now. I'm gonna keep the background really simple so I won't use too much shading. Oh, I have no idea what happened with that flower. I guess I still had purple in my paintbrush without realizing. Oh well, it made it look fine in the end. I'm just gonna see it as adding an extra level of depth. Yeah, we'll go with that. Oh my gosh, this green color. What was I thinking? I know it's just the base, but wow, my eyeballs. Yeah, that looks better. I think the inside of the flowers really saved it for me. It's looking a lot better now. Now time to do the sweet little bunny. I know paintings look really scary in the beginning, but it'll get better. Oh my gosh, the eyes look so scary. I like how the little nose turned out with the shading there. Also, this was the really simple character, by the way, because it's literally just a white bunny. While I let the bunny dry, I'm just gonna go back to the background, and I'm just adding shrubbery. Anyway, I'm on to shading now. I'm bringing in the sponge again. I feel so neutral about it. I didn't like it on the first painting. It was so unnecessary. This nose. I go and fix it later on, but it's just too big and too clunky looking. I have to wait for the nose to dry, so I'm just gonna move on to doing the rest of the line art. Oh, I messed up again. Well, that line didn't really erase well. I was feeling kind of meh about this painting, to be honest, so I kind of didn't really care how the line art turned out. So this one, the line art, is rushed and meant to be kind of bad because I didn't want to spend a lot of time on it. Finally, doing the eyes. I don't really do this kind of eye style a lot, but I mainly do it if there's animals that have like really dark eyes. Gotta add the shinies. Oh, I just love how it brings an artwork to life. Ugh, finally fixing that ugly mouth. See, that looks so much better. I also decided on a whim to add cheek blush, since it's like a really sweet bunny painting. After adding my signature, it's all done. And last but not least, finally moving on to the Pomeranian, just doing the sketch for that one. And that's the sketch done. Just adding the gesso layer to this one as well. I used a darker pink because it's going to be a more vivid painting. I did the first layer off camera. I just couldn't get the brown color right. The fur is more of like a reddy brown, but my paint kept going to more of like a yellowy brown, which is not what I'm going for. Even this lighter fur part, it went like a greeny brown as well, so I have to go in and fix this too. But I'm just going to do the first coat of paint in this ugly color, and then I'll fix it later on because I can't just stop halfway through, otherwise you're going to be able to see it on one patch and then the rest of it is going to look completely different. I love painting in the fur. It's so satisfying to get those clean lines. At this point the fur kind of makes it look like an elderly dog, but I promise it won't end up looking like that in the end. I do think that the fur looks so much better now that the paint is lighter. Remember how I said that the colors would look different? Well, I forgot to paint this part, so I guess it didn't matter in the end. I kinda couldn't be bothered mixing another color for the shading because I was just so over how frustrating these brown colors were to mix. I don't know why. I never have this many problems with mixing paint, but it's fine. I'm just putting a quick marker for where the nose is gonna be. I'm hoping to hide the fact that the fur on the right side is lighter with a lot of shading. And to be honest, I completely forgot that that happened, so I guess it's not that noticeable. I just love adding the highlighted part of the fur. It just makes it look so clean. Okay, with the Pomeranian, I didn't wait to do the eyes at the end because they're quite detailed. I really enjoy doing eyes, so I couldn't hold my excitement and I wanted to do it now. But alas, I have to let the paint dry, so I'm just gonna do some more highlights while that dries. And then do some shading. I wasn't really sure when to add the tips of the fur color to the ears. I thought that I would do the darker color last and just kind of trace around it because I did not want to do like 10,000 layers of light paint. Finally, the eyes are dry and I can move on to that. I use brown for the shading so that it's not super harsh like black would be because I'm going for a more soft aesthetic. I'm going to be a blending professional after this. I had to stand it up so I could see if the pupils were aligned because we do not want Miss Wonky Eye. The eyes looked a little bit uncanny right now, but that's because there's no eyeliner on it. So it'll look fine in the end, don't worry. See, I told you not to worry, it already looks so much better. Yeah, see, the eyes look way better now. This one I took my time with outlining it because I was really happy with this painting. I think it's the eyes. I think the eyes sold me on this painting. I forgot that I needed to add an extra layer of paint to the cheeks, so I just did that quickly. While the paint's drying, I'm just gonna add in the eyebrows. Since it's a puppo, gotta add the nails. Yay, highlight time again. On this one, it really stood out because there's so many little shaded parts. But that's it, all done. Oh, look at her. She looks so sweet. And here they are so far all together. I just love that they're all so unique, but they still all go together because of the colors. Now for the finishing touches. I'm just getting an idea of how the bows would look. I'm going to be adding varnish. I'm going to be mixing it with this fine glitter so it has a sparkle at the end. But I was not experienced with this varnish at all. I'm under the assumption here that you're not meant to mix water with varnish. However, it kind of turned out looking really bad. I go in and fix this painting later on. I feel like I kind of ruined the painting a little bit because I didn't realize that you could thin this varnish. But it's fine, we live and we learn. That's why I didn't want to spend a lot of time on these paintings because I knew that somewhere along the way I was gonna mess up. But for this bunny one, the varnish layer actually turned out so pretty because I thinned it out and the glitter spread evenly, unlike the other two. I'm so upset about this one. I forgot to let the eyes dry. I completely forgot about them and that kind of messed me up. Now onto the very last part, I'm adding the bows. And the paintings are all dry now. I didn't have any other glues to stick the things on with, so I'm just using fabric glue, but I guess it kind of makes sense because the ribbon is made of fabric. These ones for the bunny I made are a little bit long, so I'm just gonna go and cut that. And here's the problem one. I fixed it as best I could. And that's all of them done. Oh, I'm so happy with how these turned out. They're so pretty in their own ways, and I love them all equally so much. Which one's your favorite? Let me know. I would happily do this again. I enjoyed the whole thing from start to finish. I'll also be posting this to all my other social medias if you want to follow me there too. Thank you all so much for watching the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!